Bad Influence, where we cut through the crap to focus on what shapes us and our kids. I'm your host, Daniel Burdett. I'm going solo today, and I'm playing a little bit with the green screen stuff, the little software that they have out here. Let me know what you guys think and see if you guys like it as well. Today we're going to tackle a topic that's, going around a lot on YouTube, X, and social media. How to build strong relationships as a dad or a parent in general. We're diving into navigating the honeymoon phase, the early stages of the relationship, without ignoring red flags because small stuff get big really fast. We'll hit how to communicate and stay on the same page with your partner and model healthy love for your kids. It's important to keep your identity and friendships in work as well. And this is about staying true to yourself and raising kids who value freedom and respect in all their bonds. Early in my relationships, I brushed off small clashes over things I thought weren't worth addressing. I thought it was no use making a big deal out of small issues. It always inevitably snowballed into stress that shook these relationships themselves to the core. We have to show a better way to do this for our kids. So let's get into it.
If we ceased enforcing our financial policy on the rest of the world, then our money would probably collapse very quickly.
There's never been a government that wasn't owned by the rich.
If there's no store of value, then it's not a money.
They're telling you that we're going to do all this stuff and we're going to tax the rich, but it's never happened.
DJ Badger coming at you live with Dad Influence.
The honeymoon phase is all about sparks and butterflies. YouTube vlogs are screaming, don't ignore the small stuff. X people are ranting about early missteps, and it seems all the Facebook dad groups are sharing how little issues like mismatched priorities can turn into deal breakers. A 2024 study says about 45% of couples who skipped red flags faced huge fights within 5 years. Why do you think this matters for kids? It's pretty easy to answer that. They're watching how you handle new love, whether you're a single dad dating and playing the field, or blending a family, or even a single guy reaching for that eventuality of a wife, a kids, the family, the whole picket fence thing. Ignoring stuff like clashing values creates tension that can rock children's stability, and spotting problems early teaches kids to face conflicts head on, building resilience and honesty. Society, media, and biology push you to drown in love's glow, but liberty and maturity means owning your judgment. Calling out red flags respects your freedom and shows kids how to set boundaries over chasing just feelings. And it's really not just about your partner. You got to look at yourself as well. We put up a facade, a lot of us, early on, playing the perfect guy. I did that early on in certain relationships myself, hiding my objections to impress someone or going above and beyond and pushing myself financially past where I could actually go for this person to try to show that I really was dedicated. When that mask eventually slipped, it caused fights. We've all heard the saying, "You're not the person I married." That's emotional fatigue from ignoring issues and faking it. You got to be yourself. Why waste time on a facade that'll eventually obviously blow up? So, how do you spot red flags? Look for mismatches, like one wanting to have kids or the other not. Talk about these things early, because if they don't want kids in the beginning, this isn't something you want to convince somebody of and then eventually try to make work. You want people to enjoy and intentionally raise your kids with you. the same way we always recommend on this podcast.
Hey guys, I just wanted to take a second to plug my new channel that I have going on. Me and a buddy, Shael Benaframe, have created a podcast we call The Grand Reckoning. It's a play off of his Substack that he has. He has over 20 years in journalism experience, and we are covering a lot of these wars and their effects on regular people. So definitely give it a check out, and subscribe. Any monetization that we have through the clicks or views, we're going to send to, feeding people or aid or healthcare in these areas. So please, guys, subscribe and watch every video. Even if you want to just hit play and end it, that would be totally cool, because this is really, I think, a good idea if we can really turn these clicks into revenue that we can help people who are the most vulnerable people in the world, people who are living under war.
These small issues, they become big problems later, making things you seem to have dropped replay over and over and over from the perspective of the partner. They think that we have addressed this, we've figured it out, I've told you what I believe, and you haven't really listened to that. And this creates that tension and resentment that you have to balance. You have to balance love with your values as a dad and as a person and as a man. This teaches kids to stand firm in their freedom and not just bend for approval. So now that you've navigated through the honeymoon phase without losing yourself, love gets serious sometimes. How do you stay aligned? Let's talk about communication. Once you're in a promising relationship, communication is really the glue. YouTube trends all over the place as well, with couples tips on active listening. You see it on X debating talking versus fighting, and Facebook dad groups stress aligning on parenting or money. A 2025 survey says 60% of strong couples credit clear communication for staying united. Here's a good example. Take this extreme one. Two drug addicts can last years if they're on the same drug. They're aligned. You got to get the next fix. It's messed up, but it shows why being on the same page really matters. If you're pulling in different directions, one of you wants a big family, the other's chasing travel dreams, then you're not gonna get to any kind of balance. It's just gonna be chaos. This misalignment shakes and breaks homes. This doesn't mean you have to be the same person. My wife would absolutely love to visit Japan someday, and I'm not exactly as interested as she is. But visiting Japan isn't necessarily a deal breaker for how our relationship is going to work. So I'm sure we'll figure it out. Kids learn how to express themselves from you. Honest talks with your partner show them how to resolve fights and align on values, creating a stable home. Clashing on big stuff like discipline confuses kids and can mess up their trust in relationships. A 2023 study says that kids in high conflict homes really struggle more with social skills. Society's perfect couple myth really shuts down honest talk. You see these perfect relationships playing out on media and TV, and you almost expect that to happen in your own relationships. This makes you hide your thoughts and feel like you need to keep the peace, when actually that is the inverse of the truth. Communicating freely without judgment actually upholds your autonomy and teaches kids to speak their belief while respecting others, and sets the stage for stifling resentment, so that way you avoid a lot more conflict in the long run. Try doing weekly check-ins. My wife and I actually do this every Friday night. We go over goals for ourselves and the kids. A lot of times it's way more often than that, just whenever it comes to mind. But I definitely make sure we at least do it once a week. We need to know how the week has gone. What are our goals for our own relationship and the one that we're building with our kids as they grow? We want them to trust us in a way that sets the stage for puberty and the tougher questions later on that they'll inevitably have. We handle disagreements by listening and understanding, not just by trying to win. This shows kids how to this shows kids how to stand up for their beliefs while building bridges. Now that you're communicating like a pro, kids aren't just watching your marriage. They're learning from your love story. We got to talk about modeling healthy relationships. Your relationship really is your kid's blueprint for love later in life. YouTube has the old meme of relationship goals for parents, and X says kids definitely mimic your dynamic, and that's very obvious. Facebook dad groups share wins like showing respect in action. 2023, there was a study that said that kids of couples who model mutual respect are way more likely to form healthy relationships. Showing respect, compromise, and individuality really teaches kids how to seek partners who honor their freedom and worth. A toxic dynamic or no model or at all sends them chasing after bad patterns. Personally, I want my children to see that they were raised intentionally, and I want them to know how to really maintain the same direction throughout a relationship. Society's pressure for ideal coupledom really erodes authenticity. Modeling a relationship where you both thrive as individuals shows kids liberty and love really can coexist, inspiring them to reject controlling dynamics in love or friendship or society in general. One of the greatest gifts you give your kids in a healthy relationship model is the fact that it's their benchmark for life. If they see constant bickering and resentment, they'll think that that's normal. But if they see compromise and respect, they tend to aim a lot higher and expect more from their eventual partners, relationships, friendships, and professional career people. You want your daughter to say she wants a husband who listens like daddy. You want your son to say he wants to be a father who's consistently planning for the family's direction. Why do you think this is so crucial? To me, it's because it's their first lesson in love. We really have to show kid love respects freedom by pursuing your passions while supporting your partner. This teaches them to build connections that honor their autonomy. Kids learn love from you, but they also learn how to connect from your friendships. Let's talk about keeping your identity there. Friendships evolve like romance. YouTube often trends with vlogs about toxic friends and lifelong bonds with really great friends. X debates loyalty versus cutting ties. And Facebook groups share how to balance buddies with a family. A 2024 study says that about half of dads who will actually lose friendships after kids because of time constraints. Kids really do learn social skills from your friendships. Drop old friends for dad mode, and they miss seeing these diverse bonds. Keeping genuine friendships teaches them how to build networks, fostering independence. I made a point, personally, not to lose touch with my friends after I had kids. And my kid lights up when he sees my buddy Jake or Caleb, actually both friends and guests on the podcast, by the way. This actually hits me hard. These relationships aren't just important for me, they're incredibly important for him. These are people that he sees as basically family in his life. Society and time tends to push dad to ditch friends for family, but liberty means owning your social freedom. Friendships will recharge you and keep you from feeling isolated, and show kids how to risk conformity for authentic connections with other people in their life. Keep friendships alive with a quick coffee or call if it's just a phone call. Look for mutual respects. Like my friends who get my dad life and give me the time when I'm busy, but keep me laughing and engaged in their life by sending me the odd meme when I haven't been able to contact them lately. This teaches kids to build networks that support their freedom, not just drain it. Friendships keep you grounded, but work can also pull you away. Let's wrap with talking about how you can stay yourself in professional relationship. Work relationships, bosses, colleagues, and clients are always a grind. YouTube is always talking about career tips. On X, people are constantly talking about work-life balance, especially amid layoffs. Facebook dad groups vent about job stress stealing their precious family time. A 2025 report says 55% of dads feel work overshadows their life, which really causes burnout for a lot of dads. Kids see how you handle work, learning about ambition and balance. If you lose yourself to corporate demands, they think sacrifice specifically is what makes success. I personally work a lot of hours during peak season, and these hours are all overnights, which really takes away from being awake during the day. So I end up missing a lot of things that I personally really wish I didn't. But it is always in my mind that some of these things are some of the most important years of my two sons' lives, and you really have to set boundaries. It is important to provide, but it is also important to be present in these moments you won't ever get back. Strong work relationships and balance really show kids how to chase their goals without losing their core. You don't want to turn yourself into a cog and let that steal your freedom. Maintaining your identity at work through negotiation or side passions, it reclaims your autonomy. It teaches kids to resist systems demanding conformity, but there is a balance. You really should give your all at work, but demand what you deserve, like time off and especially respect. I regularly demand a raise at work while reaching consistently to excel in every regard possible. I want to be able to justify why I'm always asking for money and have them legitimately afraid about what would happen if they lost me. This shows my kids that work ethic serves you, not the other way around. Set one non-negotiable at work, like leaving before 6 p.m. or maybe a specific day has to be off. Build work networks with your colleagues who respect your priorities. This teaches kids to pursue careers that honor their freedom and their family and a balance between themselves, their personal life, and a grind at work. So, if we take this all collectively, we can see that spotting red flags in love and communicating clearly, modeling healthy relationships, keeping true friends around, and thriving at work. Strong bonds really aren't just about you. It's really about raising kids who value freedom, respect, and truth. We all have to fight society's push to conform and show our kids how to live boldly in love, friendships, and work. What do you guys think? Drop your comments in and tell me what your thoughts are. How do you guys balance relationships as a dad? Subscribe to me, and I also have a YouTube and a Spotify, and we'll keep fighting for our family's liberty next week on Dad Influence with Adam Becker. He is a AI expert, and he wants to talk about how we should approach artificial intelligence and how it affects our kids. What limits should we place? What possibilities really exist? Subscribe, and we'll find out together next week.